So I did something stupid. I went back out with the same person that I was just like finally over. Like, I left him in 2024. And I talked to him for like a couple of months. Well, a few months. And like afterwards. So like I left 2024 like November. Like November. Yeah, it was like the end of November, I believe. And then I didn't talk to him until like February when he texted my phone. And mind you, this is like during the day and I'm like working, right? And this man texts my phone. So he says my name. And then he says it again. And then I'm like, okay, what do you want? Like, what do you want? And then from there, we're just like text one another, you know, casually. And then, of course, I started to miss him. And I text him like, you know, how like you still like one text at a time. And then one person sends one text and then you send like two texts at a time. So the person that's sending one text is like, oh, I can tell you miss me by, you know, the amount of times that you're texting me between my texts. And I'm like, okay, you know, his texts. I'm like, okay. And then of course we finally like link up. We go on a adventure because of his side gig. I can't tell you what that is because that's his business. But it was his side gig, and of course I, you know, rode along with him. So I was the passenger princess while he was working. And that was lovely. And then after that, the next time we met up, it was like a date, and I paid for the date. And it was, you know, I had a nice time. He was looking good in his little shirts and his baggy pants, which I don't really like baggy pants, but he's not a sagger. So, and of course, you know, I like this man or whatever the case. And he had on some Timberlands, and like my background from New York, so Timberlands, like I'm for it. Like Timberlands will always be in with me, okay? Anywho, so he's looking good or whatever, and after that night was, you know, calming down or ending towards the end of the evening. Um, I don't think we hooked up that night. I don't remember though. I don't think we hooked up that night. I don't remember though. But the next time, you know, after that, it was great. And then I was like, what am I doing? And then 4 months later, I was still like, what am I doing? You know why I was saying, what am I doing? Because I left this man in 2024. And it is so right. You know, like when you see those memes online, like on Facebook or like Instagram or like TikTok or whatever the case, or sometimes on YouTube, where it's like, when you're done with somebody, just leave them alone and like don't ever like redate them or like go back to them. Yeah, I had one of those situations and I don't regret it. And I'm glad we had fun for the short period of time that we had. But if you have history with someone, like this man, mind you, I had history with him. So we were together, well, not together, I don't know what it was. But we were like a thing for like, I want to say like 6 or 7 years. It's what, 2016. It's 2025. Well, almost 10 years, actually. 17, 18, 19, 20, 20. Yeah, so it's, yeah, about 6 years or whatever. I don't know. I can't math right now because my mind's all over the place. But a lesson to be learned from my situation or whatever the case, Don't ever go back to something that you left for the better. Because when you do go back to something that you left for the better, then you will end up being worse than you currently are. Mentally, emotionally, maybe physically. Never go back with a narcissist because that pain and suffering from that relationship can mess up your mental. Okay? So don't do it.